I'm Whitney Ward. Well, the city of Spokane requested the state now step in and remove a cooling tent near I-90. The deadline for WSDOT to take action was 9 a.m. today, but the tent is still up right now. So it's been sitting on Washington Department of Transportation land since Wednesday. In the time that it's been set up, it's caused quite a stir with city officials. On Friday, they submitted a notice of violation to WSDOT, asking authorities to remove the tent to prevent possible future injuries. But by Monday evening, the tent, as we said, still stands. Empire Health Foundation gave Jules Helping Hands a $21,000 grant to get it all set up. The president says it's a temporary solution, though, to a greater issue.
You know, the cooling shelter itself is a short-term solution, and it's a Band-Aid at best. It doesn't actually address how do we effectively come together and support those residents getting into better options. It's an important Band-Aid in the context of the weather and the time, but in the really what we need is a broader solution.
Empire Health says because they gave Jules Helping Hands that money to put the tent up, it's now up to her on whether or not it comes down. The organizer is Julie Garcia. She says the tent is saving lives and she plans to keep it up through Thursday per her 10-day agreement with WSDOT. The city told WSDOT, though, it could be fined $536 a day every day that the tent is left up after its request to take it down. WSDOT says they do have a notice that they have received. They have not received notice of a fine today. City spokesperson Brian Coddington told us the city is looking to have a conversation with WSDOT before taking any further action. So once again, we'll make sure to follow this and keep you posted. In the meantime, the heat wave clutching the Pacific Northwest is now officially deadly. 10 people are dead after suspected heat-related issues in Oregon. 3 of those deaths happened in Multnomah County, 1 in Umatilla County, 2 in Marion County, and now 1 in Clackamas County. Authorities say that is where an elderly man was found dead in his home with an air conditioner, but that wasn't working. The county medical examiner's office is now investigating. And things are still hot here in Spokane, but we have started to enter our cool down period. The clouds today actually were noticeable, but I'm not sure how much it actually helped to keep the heat down. We've got our chief meteorologist, Jeremy Legoo, outside right now. I'm curious, Jeremy, if it had been a nice clear day, would we be even hotter today?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we would. But right now we still sit in the mid to upper 90s. It's still a scorcher, but this cloud cover does make a bit of a difference, but you can hear the wind blowing right now. We have wind gusts up near 30 miles per hour, low relative humidity. And for that reason, high fire danger across the region. Wind gusts will stay up near 30 miles per hour until the sun goes down this evening. The wind, the dry atmosphere, and the high temperatures are causing red flag warnings to be in place across much of the inland Northwest. Notice Idaho's not really in it. You've been seeing a little more moisture and seeing a little more today. In fact, today we do have some moisture popping up, and that's starting to trim back some of our excessive heat warnings down to the south, but they remain in place off to the north. And it is kind of a sandwich. Moisture off to the north, moisture down to the south, and we find ourselves right in the middle. Some of this might eventually make its way over towards Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, but for the most part, we stay dry and hot. Temperatures in the upper 90s, pretty widespread. Notice it's 80s where the rain's coming down, and that's a warm rain, especially for the inland Northwest. And in the days to come, while we stay hot and then breezy, I'll walk you through what to expect coming up in the full forecast.
All right, Jeremy, thank you very much. Well, drugs, alcohol, and speed played a factor in a deadly boat crash on the Pend Oreille River last month. According to the Bonner County Sheriff's Office, 4 men were on that high-performance boat when it flipped over. All 4 people on board were killed. A new report from the Sheriff's Office shows the boat was going more than 100 miles an hour on the water, and the blood alcohol level of the boat's owner at the time was 0.228. An autopsy also showed the boat driver had levels of diazepam in his system. That is a drug that doctors say should not be taken with alcohol. In addition to the impairment, gusty winds also made conditions even more dangerous. Eyewitnesses tell KREM 2 News the boat hit a white cap on the water and went straight up into the air when it crashed. The sheriff's report says there were also not enough life jackets in the boat at the time of the crash. The Spokane Valley firefighter who suffered a cardiac arrest after working a 24-hour shift last week will not recover. Firefighter Dan Patterson decided to go on a run after his shift. He started feeling sick at the end of his run and returned to the fire station. That's when officials say he suffered a cardiac arrest. Crew members found him and started CPR, and then they rushed him to the hospital. We're told, though, that doctors have since made the determination he will not recover. So plans are now being made by the department to honor Patterson with a line-of-duty death funeral. He served with the department since 2009. 3 more members of the Patriot Front pleaded not guilty to conspiracy charges in a Kootenai County court today. Those suspects were from Illinois, Utah, and Colorado. They were arrested alongside 28 others for conspiracy for a potentially violent riot at a Pride celebration in Coeur d'Alene back in June. So far, the judge has not allowed any cameras in the courtroom from these hearings. After today, the next court date for this group is scheduled for August 22nd. 5 additional suspects are expected in court on that date. A Newport man is in police custody for allegedly shooting his wife. The Pend Oreille County Sheriff's Office says they responded to a 911 call from a man who told them he shot his wife. When officers got there, they say they found the body of a woman who had a gunshot wound. The State Patrol Crime Lab and the sheriff's deputies are still investigating exactly what happened. A motorcycle caused a fire inside a Spokane business on East Sprague this morning. According to Spokane Valley Fire, that bike was undergoing repairs when it somehow caught fire. There was a significant amount of smoke in the building. They also had to evacuate. Fire crews responded. They helped knock down the flames before it could spread to the walls or to the roof of the building. We're told there was no structural damage and the neighboring businesses were allowed to reopen today. A semi-truck and car crashed into each other on I-90 this morning. WSP says the driver swerved in front of the semi, causing it to roll off the interstate. The truck driver now has serious injuries. The driver of the car was not hurt. The driver of the car also is suspected of driving under the influence. Washington's primary is tomorrow, so make sure to get your ballot counted. And here are the top 3 mistakes to avoid. Turns out the most common mistake is forgetting to sign and date your envelope. Up to 1% of voters make that mistake every single election. And if you miss that step, the elections office will then need to follow up with you. Number 2 mistake, make sure you use the security envelope. Your ballot will still count if you skip that step, but it is less secure. And number 3, don't miss the postmark date. Ballots must be postmarked by tomorrow. And if you're putting your ballot in the actual mailbox, you got to make sure it's in the box before your carrier comes. The best bet if you're voting on Election Day, which again is tomorrow, make sure you drop off your ballot at one of those white drop-off boxes before 8 p.m. And as a reminder, some of the ballot drop-off locations in Spokane have changed. You can find a ballot drop box at most Spokane public libraries, city halls, the Spokane Transit Authority Plaza, and the elections office. But there are some new boxes at the Hive this year and the Hilliard, Liberty Park, and downtown libraries. But several drop-off locations from the past are also closed this year because of construction at the libraries. So you can no longer drop off your ballot at the Indian Trail or South Hill library boxes. And if you are still filling out your ballot and you need to know more about the candidates, we have put together a voter's guide for you. Just text us the word VOTE to 509-448-2000 and we'll send that link directly to your phone. And keep in mind, KREM 2 will have team coverage on election night with the results from all the biggest races across the state. Well, it's hard to believe, but the first day of school is just about a month away, and KREM 2 is helping kids right now as they get ready to get back to the classroom with the supplies they need to thrive. So we'll let you know how you can be a part of our effort right after the break.